Uzumaki. It feels like we've been waiting on this show for a long time. It first got announced in 2019, a year after the first Junji Ito collection came out, and afterwards it felt like we heard nothing about it. Then early 2023, the Japanese Tales of the Macabre came out, another Junji Ito collection, and that had a lot of us worried about what Uzumaki was going to be like, how it was going to feel like, and it was all just starting to feel kind of icky. At least for me anyways, but I was still very curious. And on July 22nd, 2023, we got our first look at what the show was gonna be like. And oh my god, it's everything we could have ever wanted from a Junji Ito adapted show. It feels so faithful to the manga, so much in fact that it decided to completely just go with the manga aesthetic. It's only in black and white, it uses shading to its effectiveness. And if you pause it at any moment, it just feels like you're looking at a manga panel. It has this weird 3D and 2D animated style to it that I just think it helps pop it out. I don't know. And now a year and a few months later, the show's finally out. It's October, it's scary month, it's Ox Scooter time, and I still feel this way about it. It still looks good even after I've seen the first episode. It looks even more amazing if I had to think about it more. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about my opinions on the first episode and the themes I've noticed within it. Maybe I'll talk about each episode as they come out, but we'll see as it goes on. Now, let's talk about Uzumaki Episode 1. If there's one thing anime has always had a hard time coming up with good and effective concepts for, it's the horror genre. Anybody that knows me from my older stuff knows about my opinions towards things like Another, which is always cited as the best of the best example when it comes to horror anime. And while I do like it, it loses the plot very fast. And it went out of its way to do that, and it had a weird plot twist instead of something more satisfying, which I guess in essence is horrific, and I wouldn't want that to happen to me, but like still, in my opinion, I'd say the better examples of horror anime come from things in the psychological horror and the monster horror genres. Things like Devilman Crybaby, The Promised Neverland, Season 1, and Parasite. And that just so happens to be where Junji Ito shines. Horror manga is in another universe of its own, and most of the time has the most beautiful and horrifically detailed things within it that makes you impressed and horrified that somebody could come up with something of that nature. Junji Ito is considered one of the best when it comes to horror manga. His work can be put in the same category you would put JoJo's Bizarre Adventures manga in which people loved the stories and the author but hated every single attempt at an animated adaptation they have tried, until JoJo's 2012 came out, and until Uzumaki 2024. Episode 1 is everything I could have wanted from an episode 1. Honestly, it was really hard to pay attention because I was so enamored by the way everything looked. It's about the spirals, so it's fun we could finally get some of these legendary manga images and finally put them into motion, and it looks just as good. Honestly, I'm probably hyping this up a little too much, but I'm so happy with the way this looks. Spirals are the unknown / monster within this story. No one knows how it started or how it got here, but now it's everybody's problem and they have to deal with it with the way they see fit. It affects everybody from elderly people to popular people in school and everybody tangentially connected to those people. Spirals are everywhere, both literally and metaphorically. We see both ends of this with this old man who is constantly talking about it. It's always something good, always something positive, like they're his good luck charms. He has to have them, or else he'll go mad without it. And this girl who has this half circle shaped scar on her head, and ever since getting that scar, it's like every guy she ever meets is universally attracted to her for some reason. At the beginning, this felt very grounded compared to a lot of his other works. We just saw this old man's obsession grow stronger and stronger within here, while his family grows more and more worried about him as the days go by. The son Suichi even suggests to his girlfriend Kyrie, our main character of the story, that they should flee town, but she didn't take his plea seriously, and it started to sound like maybe he's spiraling into madness, but that's just a theory. We see ourselves how creepy and strong this old man's obsession is when it comes to the spirals when he commissions a spiral-made pottery thing from Kyrie's father, and then she has to go give it to him, and when she goes to give it to him, he says, "Never mind, I don't want it, because I can now turn into a spiral," and he does the tone thing. We didn't know how literal he was being. We should have trusted him and sent him to a hospital when he had the chance. He did it. His wife and son can't find him anywhere, only to go into a study room to see that there is a circular case on the floor. They open it, And there he is, spiraled in a case. He broke all the bones in his body. He died. I'd be curious to know what spiral is a metaphor for. Nothingness? A longing to belong? Maybe it's just obsession in general, because that's one commonality I see with everything going on within here. And that continues with Uzumaki. Uzumaki is friends with the main character, Kyrie. She's the girl with the circle scar. She says she got it as a kid trying to impress this boy, and now ever since then, people have been attracted to her. Like they're being pulled in by her beauty. She ends up meeting Shuichi, and because of everything that's going on in his life, he screams when he sees her and runs away with his girlfriend. And this is where her obsession begins. Nobody's ever rejected her before, so she's now enamored with Shuichi. And the stronger this obsession becomes, the bigger the spiral gets on her forehead. So big, in fact, that it swallows her eye whole. So big, in fact, that it swallows a whole ass person whole. So big, in fact, that it swallows herself whole. I guess in the end, the real friends were the spirals we made along the way. As the beginning of this 4-episode series, I really enjoyed this, and I hope they can keep up with the overall aesthetic and vibe that they've given off so far. It easily sits as a favorite of mine in the horror anime genre when it comes to its uniqueness alone. And yeah, with that being said, that's basically it. Tell me your opinions about Uzumaki episode 1 in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. I really hope you enjoyed it and enjoyed this video. Okay, goodbye.